Welcome to Scattered, the podcast that's all over the map in the best way possible. From pro wrestling to pop culture, from mental health to the Buffalo Bills, and everything in between. If it's interesting, we're talking about it. And now, here's your host, the king of variety, the master of ADD, and the guy who proves being all over the place can be awesome, Brian Fink.
Welcome to another episode of Scattered. I am your host, the host with the most inconsistency, it seems like these days, Brian Fink. Guys, I want to start off today with an apology and an explanation. As you guys know, I am just getting back to work. It's been about a month now that I'm back at work. Things have been going really, really well. I'm very happy. As I've said before, I have been blessed with a company, a big company that actually seems to really care about their people. And in today's world where there's so much negativity and cynicism regarding corporations, things of that nature, it's refreshing to see with my own eyes that there's a company that really does seem to care. And I think that's so cool because it's so easy to just say, oh, big company, they suck, they hate us. We're just spokes on the wheel. But I have never gotten that vibe from this company thus far. So I think it's really cool. And I'm happy to be back. But as I've been back, as you guys can see, there's been a little bit of inconsistency with my posts, with the show, the podcast, and with everything, actually, with all of my social media stuff. I mean, I last time I was speaking to you guys, Twitter was around. And now that I'm speaking to you, Twitter's back again. So I missed the great Twitter debacle of 2025. So to quote Superman 2, I'm sorry I let you down. It won't happen again. Or at least I'm going to try my damnedest for it not to. With that said, there are a couple of things I want to touch on. One thing that I have to mention as I'm recording, how about them Buffalo Bills? We are heading to the AFC Championship game. Speaking of cynicism, I went all week talking about how the Baltimore Ravens were going to beat us in the divisional round. Oh, they've got the better team. We've lost the last couple of years in the divisional round at home. I used every sports media trope against my own team. And now, here we are, going into Arrowhead to play the greatest team of them all, to play the greatest quarterback of them all, and to play the referees. No, I'm just joking. Halfway. But the Buffalo Bills are in the AFC Championship for the first time since 2020. That was the first year anyone took us seriously, and we ended up getting spanked by the Chiefs after beating the Ravens in the divisional round. So I'm hopeful that history does not repeat itself. But man, oh man, what is so different about this team and what's so exciting is that it is not a one-man team. Yes, Josh Allen is Superman. Josh Allen puts on the cape. He goes from Clark Kent to Superman. But if you watched this Baltimore game, he was Clark Kent the entire time. He never once had to find the phone booth. He never once had to turn into Superman. He was Clark Kent the entire time, and it was the rest of the team that made sure. James Cook has been one of the best finds that we could have had, and Ray Davis and Ty Johnson, actually, the running back committee that the Bills have are all amazing. Ty Johnson is an awesome third down back, and he's also a great receiving back. Cook has been absolutely spectacular and has been completely underrated. And that offensive line is criminally underrated. But it was the defense that stepped up this week. Everybody talked about, oh, our defense sucks. Our defense can't stop anyone. They're too small. Back in week 4, the Ravens ran over us. And that's exactly what happened, in fairness. But we tightened up. We forced 3 turnovers, including a really huge game changer in the 4th, where Mark Andrews had the ball punched out from him by my boy Terrell Bernard. And now the Bills find themselves with a little bit of luck, if we're being honest, in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City. And we're going to talk all about that next week. I'll either be in complete jubilation as the Bills head to the Super Bowl, or I'll be right back where I am every year. But guys, I've said it before on this show, and damn it, I'll say it again. I'm buying in. I'm a sucker. I am buying in. I see my Bills going to the Super Bowl, and I see my Bills righting a wrong, because the 4 Super Bowls that we went to in the early 90s, everyone loves to point out, oh, the Bills lost 4 in a row. Well, guess what, guys? We lost them all to the NFC East. We lost 1 to Washington. I believe we lost 1 to the Giants, and we lost 2 to Dallas. And I might have that backwards, so I apologize. It might have been 2 to the Giants and 1 to Dallas. But I'm pretty sure I'm right, and it's 2 to Dallas, 1 to the Giants, and 1 to Washington. But now we have the chance, if we get past, when we get past, positive thinking here, when we get past the Chiefs, we have a chance to go on and beat an NFC East team, because the NFC Championship game is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. And what a story the Commanders have been. Jaden Daniels, his rookie year, playing absolutely lights out. Dan Quinn's first year as the head coach there. I'm very happy for them, but I am hoping for a Philly Buffalo Super Bowl. My brother Matt is a huge Philly fan. He might be an idiot when it comes to Die Hard as a Christmas movie, but I do love the guy, and I want to see the Bills and the Eagles, and then I want to see the Bills beat the Eagles. And I think the Bills, a lot of what they've done is going to tie into what the main topic for today is. And that is fake it until you make it. How many of us have heard that expression? How many of us live by that mantra? That is something, fake it till you make it, is essentially showing that confidence, showing that competency, even if you don't really have it, until you get there. And I think we've all experienced that, or we've all tried to. This was something that started in the 20s. And then, I actually, let me clarify that, because we're in the 20s now. So in the 1920s, about 100 years ago, is when this expression first came around. But it was really popularized in the 70s in self-help books and in books about business, faking it until you make it. And let's break it down a little bit, guys. Again, that is showing that confidence. That's showing that competency in situations where you might not have it, but damn it, you're going to work to get it. And I have lived my entire life by that. I'm not the only one, though. Lady Gaga, who I'm not a particularly huge fan of her music or her acting. I didn't even see the new Joker movie, and I have no intention. But Lady Gaga had an entire persona. She had the whole Lady Gaga gimmick. Stephanie, I don't know her last name, had the Lady Gaga gimmick long before she was Lady Gaga. But she worked her ass off, and she faked it until she made it, and she's one of the biggest stars in the world at this point. For me, faking it until you make it, that's how I've gotten through life. When I started in the mental health field, actually when I started in kitchens, before I was even in the mental health field, when I started in kitchens, I could cook eggs. I could throw a burger on the grill. My dad was a chef his entire life, and still every day loves to cook. He's been out of a kitchen now for 10 years, and he still loves it. So I was kind of born into that, but I have horrible hand-eye coordination. But every job I had in the kitchen, I faked it until I made it. And sometimes it worked out, and I had some good, hard jobs. And then other times, it was a colossal disaster. I remember one particular time where I had talked my way into getting a job at a cafe that was just opening up. And they had a huge stress test, like something you would have seen at a bar rescue. And I had talked my way into being the lead line cook. And I completely crapped the bed. I couldn't handle the pressure. It was horrible. They immediately, after that, switched me to a dishwasher, and I didn't last very long there. But I went in with all the confidence in the world, and I said, damn it, I'm going to make this work. And it didn't that time, but I didn't give up. I kept on going, and when I started in the mental health field, you know, I've shared some of my history with you guys, you know, my battles with ADD, my battles with depression, with bipolar disorder, things like that. And when I started in the mental health field as a certified peer specialist, I remember thinking, well, who the hell's going to want to listen to me? Who the hell's going to, you know, if I can't get myself together, who's going to want to listen to me? But I went in, I worked hard. I listened to my own advice as I was giving that advice, as I was helping others, and eventually I got pretty damn good at my job. I faked it until I made it. And now you fast forward to sales. I've been in sales for 5 years now. My current job is the most ambitious job that I've ever had, but it's a tremendous opportunity. And to be perfectly frank, and I know that some people from my job actually are subscribed to this, and I thank you for that, but this show is about transparency. So there are times where I'm still faking it until I make it. There are times where I do feel overwhelmed, where I'm not 100% sure what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to get about things. But I keep going. I keep working my ass off. And I am determined to make it work at this job. I really love the people I work with. I believe in the company. And the company so far has rewarded that by believing in me. And guys, the Scattered podcast, the Scattered brand, if you will. It's a fake it till you make it thing, guys. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm sitting here recording this. I've told you guys, I fly without a net. I don't have a script. I have some bullet points on things I want to say. I know others who have podcasts, and God bless them, they have everything written out, word for word, to make it sound as though they're having a conversation with you. And if that works for them, that is awesome. But that's not my style. I am just kind of going off the see, I can't even think of the words now, thus proving my point. I'm just going off of what's off of my head. And if it comes out coherent, great. If not, I'll go back, I'll listen, and I'll say, oh, this is crap. But I want to drive into something. Not literally, because I really like my new car, so I don't want to drive into anything. But I want to dive into something. And that's the difference between fake it till you make it and imposter syndrome, which is another thing that I have always suffered from. Imposter syndrome is when you are actually good at something, but you don't have the self-confidence to see it. And when you mitigate your own successes because you think that they're all BS or they're all bogus. They're not, it shouldn't be real. And eventually people are going to find out that you're not who you say you are. You're not what you think you present yourself as. And a lot of that comes from low self-esteem and from inexperience in what you do. So there's a fine line between imposter syndrome and between fake it till you make it. And the main thing is mindset, guys. We talk about it all the time. How you view things, how you look at it makes a world of difference. And I know for me, imposter syndrome is something that I struggle with. When I get praise at work, when I get praise at home, I'm so quick to dismiss it because I'm just completely uncomfortable with it. And it's something I have to work on. It's something I think a lot of us have to work on, guys. It's okay to take the wins when we get them. It's great to learn from our losses and to continue to fake it until you make it. But it's equally as important to appreciate our wins. I'm going to go back. I may have told this story already, so I apologize if I have. But I had a client when I was working in mental health field who played for Penn State. And this was before we knew about CTE and things like that. But he had major mental health concerns afterwards. He had lost his family. He'd lost his wife, and his kid had left him. And he was so depressed. But he would talk about, if I get out of bed today, it's a victory. It's a win. If I get out and I brush my teeth, it's a victory and it's a win. He faked it until he made it. And that's what we have to do. That's what separates imposter syndrome from faking it until you make it, is taking the wins when you get them, learning from them, and allowing yourself that grace. I think going back to the beginning of this podcast, I think that's why I constantly doubt my Bills, because I have imposter syndrome about my Buffalo Bills. They were down for so long that now that they're a top tier team and on the precipice of getting to the Super Bowl, I still have imposter syndrome about them. When they won the game on Sunday night, the first thing I said was, well, the Ravens blew this one. The Bills didn't actually win it. And both my brother and my dad yelled at me. And they said, Brian, why not just take the victory? Your team won. What's wrong with you? And they're so right, guys. And I think we need to apply that to life. Yes, imposter syndrome affects a lot of us. But the difference, again, between fake it till you make it and imposter syndrome is that belief in yourself, and is that learning and that grace to accept those victories. So I'm going to continue to learn at my job. I'm going to continue and grow. I'm going to continue to learn and grow with the Scattered podcast and with the Scattered brand. And together we are going to achieve those goals we set out for at the beginning of the year. So guys, I'm asking you in the comments, let me know, what is something where you have had to fake it till you made it? Where is something where maybe you felt some imposter syndrome? What's your predictions for the Super Bowl? I would love to hear from you. Brian Fink Scattered at Outlook.com. Please send me an email anytime. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Instagram. Believe it or not, I am back on the TikTok. I know that was a national crisis that we lost TikTok for about 6 hours. But TikTok is back, so find me on TikTok. And let's have a discussion, guys. Let's talk about imposter syndrome versus fake it till you make it. And I am going to continue to pump out content as often as I can. I'm sorry again that it's been so long. I really am trying to learn how to balance stuff, and this is going to be a learning curve. But I will get stuff out to you. Thanks for listening. And stay scattered, but stay connected. We'll talk again soon. Bye.